What's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. If you are watching the recording right now, skip in about 5 minutes. That's when we're going to jump into things. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Good evening, guys. Happy Sunday. As per usual, we'll get started in a couple minutes here. We'll let everybody hop on first. Yes, good morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you guys are. Good to see you guys. Good to see everybody in the chat. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. I myself had an extremely busy weekend. Let me know in the chat, guys, if there's anything that you're specifically looking at trading this week, if you have any interest in any pairs. Let me know what setups you guys are looking at for the week. We'll get the ball rolling in just a couple minutes, guys. Just want to let everybody hop on. Give everybody a few minutes. I'm sure today we're not going to see a ton of people on. I think the Super Bowl is going on right now. I think it's in the middle of the Super Bowl, or maybe it's just starting. I don't know. I don't watch football, but so I'm not expecting too many people on. But as usual, we'll get started at 5 after. If you're watching, definitely make sure you have something to take some notes with. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. Hope that your January was super productive. I know we're going into February right now. This is going to be the first full trading week of February. Order panel, interesting. Okay. Oops. All right, guys, about 60 seconds and we'll go ahead and get started. Just going to let everybody still hop on. Just as usual, give everybody a couple minutes. Wow. Pretty crazy. Like half the people that are normally on here watching today. I'm sure because of the Super Bowl. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and jump into things. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. This is our weekly outlook for the week of February 3rd through the 8th. This is the first full trading week of February. I hope you guys all had not just a good weekend, but had a good January as well. If you guys are following my track record on my FX book, I finished off the month of January at about 3% gain. So a little bit under target. I mean, that's right around target. I'd like to make about 3.5% per month. Now I know that that's going to be averaged down. I'm not looking to make like 3.5 every single month. I know some months I'm going to make 10%, 15%. Other months are going to be a break-even month. Other months I might even have a small losing month. But very nice to kick off the year on a good note. So I want to share with you guys a couple setups that I'm looking at, some weekly setups for this week. I'm assuming that there's a really low number of people watching right now because it's the Super Bowl is going on. So, but regardless, I hope you guys are prepared for a good week. I hope you guys are prepared for a good February. I want to jump into things right now. So let's go ahead and start off. Oh, and by the way, just as my usual disclaimer, anything that you guys hear on today's webinar or anything on this channel is not investment or financial advice. It should only be taken as educational, informational purposes only. And I'd also like to welcome you if this is one of your first times, maybe this is your first time watching. My name is David Schinkel. I'm the CEO and founder of Positive Traders. And if you stay subscribed, I do a free weekly outlook. I do this weekly outlook every single Sunday for you for free to give you my outlook, okay? And as I always say, keep in mind that although I'm a professional trader and I do very, very well for myself in the markets, I am not a perfect trader by any means, okay? So I don't have a perfect track record. And you don't need to have a perfect track record to be profitable in the market. So just keep in mind that this is just my opinion. Other people, even yourself, might have other opinions, and that is totally okay. That's why it is called an opinion. But let's go ahead and look at the economic calendar to start things off. Also, if you have any questions throughout this, I see there's some people on here. And if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I will I will answer them before the end of this. But first and foremost, just want to go over the economic calendar and look at a couple of the events that are coming out for the week. So probably the biggest event that's coming out for the week is we see on Thursday, there is an interest rate decision coming out for the pound out of Great Britain. Looks like they're going to be keeping interest rates the same, which is at 0.75% right now. So just under 1%, that's where it's been at. And it looks like they're going to be keeping rates the same. There's some other high impact news this week. We have Governor Lowe from the Reserve Bank of Australia speaking on Tuesday evening. We have some PMI, so some Purchasing Managers Index coming out Tuesday for the dollar. We also have Mr. Jerome Powell, who is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, speaking on Wednesday. I don't think that this is going to cause a lot of volatility. If you actually look what he's speaking about, it says that he's speaking at a town hall meeting for teachers in Washington, D.C. Audience questions is expected. So it's not anything like super crazy, but it is marked off as high impact. There's some other news this week. I'm not going to go over every single red folder, but and then also, by the way, there's an interest rate decision for the Australian dollar also on Monday. So if you have some sort of calendar or something that you take notes on, what I really recommend doing and what I actually went out and got this weekend just to stay a little bit more organized is one of those like desk calendars that you actually write on. I'm probably just going to throw it up with some push pins on my wall. Usually I have a little planner or something that I keep, but my old planner ran out at the end of 2018, so I needed something new, so that's why I decided to go with this year, and so that's what I'm moving with forward. So if you guys have something like that, I would highly recommend to at least write down at the bare minimum the two interest rate decisions that are coming out this week. So Australian dollars, so from the Reserve Bank of Australia on Monday, and then Thursday we have the interest rate decision coming out of Great Britain for the pound, and then there's a couple other red impact or high impact news throughout the week. In the chat room, Fester Bertester 18, nice name, says greetings from Australia. David, did you trade non-farm payroll last Friday? So I do not trade NFP. I am not a fan of trading non-farm payroll. And what I mean by that is I'm not ever interested in like taking a buy or taking a sell as soon as the news comes out. there's times where maybe we're in a buy or a sell on Euro USD or some dollar cross pair where we're already sitting in profit, maybe 50 or 100 pips. And if I believe that the NFP already has a bearish tone for the US dollar, then, or a bullish tone, basically what I'm saying is if I believe that NFP supports the direction that my trade is already going, then I might hold that trade and set the stop loss to break even. But I don't actively trade NFP. I don't actively place a buy or sell. Someone says louder. Okay, let me turn it up really quickly. Turn up your volume too. Maybe you have me turned up all the way. I turned it up a little bit more, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Sorry. Hopefully that is better. Let me know how the volume is. But let's go ahead and jump into the charts. So this week is a little interesting. I haven't gotten, and I'm just going to be really honest with you guys that are watching this live right now, because I have a deadline to do this at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Sunday. Not every single Sunday do I have all the time in the world to plan out my trades. This weekend in particular, I've been extremely busy. Those of you guys that follow my personal life and things that go on in my own life, I just recently settled in Phoenix, Arizona, moved into a new place. So I'm still gradually, as I have time on the weekends and whatnot, to go out and run some errands and get some things. So this week has been nonstop, back and forth, all the different stores, getting things for my place. So I really only got about 15 or 20 minutes before I started this evening to look at the charts. So what I'm going to do, for those of you guys that follow my Telegram, if you are not in my Telegram, make sure you check there's a link in the description. You can join the Telegram group completely for free. I'm going to briefly go over the pairs that I'm looking at or interested in potentially taking a position on this week. And then just to be able to add some more value for you guys, I'm going to update the Telegram with some charts for you guys, with some specific setups that I'm looking at in the next couple hours here once I'm able to go over the charts a little bit more. But overall, with the dollar index, what do I believe for the US dollar? Well, let's just look at Euro USD. I am still bullish on Euro USD, okay? I'm expecting something along the lines of this taking place. All right, so for those of you guys that are curious about my bias, something much lower. I'm expecting Euro USD to drop much harder, but something along the lines of this. For the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be bullish on Euro USD, which means I'm going to be bearish on the dollar index, and then I'm going to be looking for a sell on Euro USD at some point. I'm going to be holding that sell for a couple of months, okay? So that's my outlook, and if you guys have been following me, that's been my outlook for the past couple of weeks. Even last week, we didn't get a ton of movement on Euro USD, a lot of consolidation last week, but you can see based on the weekly candle, it did move a little bit higher, and this has been my bias. So this is my bias on Euro USD. Dollar UJ, dollar yen, I am looking for a sell at some point on dollar yen, okay? Friday, so Thursday, we actually saw a little bit of a break of this level, this zone that I have marked off on my chart right here. And then Friday, we saw a bit of a rally on dollar yen. It's back in the range it's been in for a couple of weeks now. And once it gets a little bit higher in this range, I'm going to be looking for a sell. But this is my outlook for dollar yen. Okay, I'm looking for dollar yen to move a little bit higher. Closer to 110 to 111 is where I'll look for a sell at, a long-term sell on dollar yen. But this is what I'm expecting on dollar yen. Euro yen, very similar scenario. So I've actually had on Euro yen this alert. So if you guys can see this alert, I've actually had it here for a while. Let's see. It doesn't actually show the date. I believe actually when you place an alert, it goes 30 days afterwards. So being that this expiration date is on the 14th of January or 14th of February, in about a week and a half here, I've had this on here since the 14th of the 14th of January. So I'm looking for it. It still hasn't been hit yet either. You can see that it almost hit it on Friday. But basically, in short, I'm looking for euro yen to move a little bit higher, and then I'm looking at shorting. So if you can already kind of see where I'm going with things, I'm expecting the yen the Japanese yen to strengthen significantly over the course of a couple months. I'm expecting metals as well to strengthen. I'm basically expecting all safe havens to strengthen. So the yen, the Swiss franc, and gold, and I mean silver, of course, the metals. I'm expecting all of these pairs to continue to appreciate. Also, I do just want to very quickly talk about gold because I've been calling bullish on gold for like so long now. Like literally months I've been bullish on gold. And I've been telling you guys even since the start of this year, I said gold is going to have no problem breaking the 1365, 1370 level where we've previously seen some resistance at over the past couple of years. And I think we're going to break that no problem. Gold is going to do very well this year, okay? So metals, commodities, and I mean just safe havens in general are going to do very well. I think oil is going to do very well this year also. But yeah, anyways, back to euro yen, dollar yen. So looking for a little bit more upside and then looking to short. I think a pretty good conservative short would be somewhere around like 127. So it's still got about 150 pips higher to go on euro yen. In dollar yen, it's got about 50 to about 150 pips still before I look for a short. So both of these pairs, I'll be looking to take some long-term short positions on over the next week or so. It also just depends on how fast the market moves, right? If we see the market move very aggressively, we could get this set up this week. That's why I'm including this on the weekly outlook because it just kind of depends on how fast these pairs move, okay? But each of these pairs about 100 to 150, between 50 and 150 pips higher than where they are now, I think is going to be a good short for both of these, in my opinion. Oil. So I've been talking about oil for a while, guys. We've been looking at the scaled out perspective for a while, ever since it bounced around $43, $42 a barrel. And this has basically been the reason I've been bullish on the Canadian dollar. So for those of you guys, just very quickly to kind of cover CAD, this is something that me and my students have been trading is USD CAD. So back on January 24th, so about a week ago, we took a short in my group on USD CAD, and we can see that was pretty much a perfect entry, whatever people want to call like a quote-unquote wick entry. I don't care about wick entries. I don't care about getting a perfect entry, right? I don't mind drawdown because I use good risk to reward and good risk management on my trades, but more importantly, good risk management, right? If you're using good risk management, you can afford to go through some drawdown. We can see out of the 450 pip target we established on this trade, we've gone about 250 pips lower on this pair. And I've said many, many, many times that I think that this is a conservative target, okay? I think that this is another opportunity for us to get in. Last week for me and my students, I posted a chart like this. And yeah, I said that it was either option A, where it was going to move up a little bit higher in fall, or option B, where it fell straight from the retest of this zone. It ended up falling straight from the retest of this zone. And like I said, I think that USD CAD, that 450 pip target at about 129, it's actually 129.05, just a little bit above 129. I think that's more than a conservative target, okay? I think USD CAD has plenty of room to the downside. When I say plenty of room, I'm talking like at least back to the 2017, even the 2018 lows. No problem. And that's still, from where my target is, that's still another 750 pips lower than where the target is of my first trade. Okay, so USD CAD, this is like taking candy from a baby, honestly. USD CAD has been easy to pick the shorts. We even called this short all the way at the top, right? And you guys want to remember that analysis? Part of that analysis had to do with this first 850 pip rally, another 850 pip rally, and then coincidentally another 850 pip rally, and then coincidentally again another 850 pip rally, right? So it seemed like with USD CAD, it really liked these 850 pip rallies and then a sell-off. So those of you guys that have been following along, since that looks like about the last week of December, or even, the last week of December, we were calling shorts all the way at the top, if you remember. So Lots of value. You know, guys, I'm not the kind of trader, not the kind of person that's like on here, saying necessarily, exactly where to buy, exactly where to sell. I kind of drip feed that value to you guys because I leave that information for my students and inside of my student group. But if you guys really pay attention and you buckle down and you actually watch these things and you're actively not even, you don't even have to participate, just actively taking notes and just being, you know, consciously in the moment, consciously paying attention, you're going to make money. And no doubt about it, you're going to make money. There's so many opportunities that we go over. Um, so yeah, just as an incentive, if you get on here and you just like you just sit on here and you just watch, you're laying down in bed, holding your phone above your head, just watching this, like it's really not going to do you that good, right? You need to actually be sitting at a desk, sitting somewhere, having a notebook out, having your whiteboard out, having something proactively taking notes, proactively learning, or else it's not going to help you out. And then last thing is AUD NZD. So just a pretty significant level. I actually just want to kind of show you this scaled out. So this is the weekly for AUD NZD. We had a pretty complex retest. So this big long candle with this big wick is the flash crash from the first week of the year. And we can see price pulled up a little bit higher, retesting the underside of this trend line. And then now it's getting to the bottom of this trend line, right? I'm sorry, it already went to the bottom of this trend line. It rejected very strongly. Look, not last week, but the week before last, weekly candle, super, super bearish. This is a major downtrend that we've been in since the halfway out of last year, right? Since about Q3 of last year, August of 2018. We've been extremely bearish on AUDNZD, right? Lots of selling pressure. Bears are very much in control. And I want you guys to watch this level on AUDNZD very clean, actually. If we break through this support, expect a sell-off of AUDNZD. Expect sellers to regain control. And we could see something like what we see back in, here, let me just mark it off. Kind of like what we see back in this area, right? Where for a couple of months, right, from about like late August 2018 to late October, middle October 2018, just really ranging price, right? Really ranging, and then finally we broke that price. We actually came back up to retest it, and then price sold off for a couple more months, right? From October all the way, or I guess, yeah, from October all the way to pretty much beginning of December. And then beginning of December, that's where we've been in this range at. Found a little bit of buying pressure beginning of this year. That flash crash obviously created a little bit of reaction to the markets. But then look at that, right back to this range, right back to this bottom area. So I'd expect something similar on AUDNZD. We break this support, and we're going to see a continued sell-off for a couple more months on AUDNZD, okay? So that's all of these pairs that I'm interested in right now. As I mentioned, I'm going to update with some charts inside of Telegram. I want to give you guys some more value, but really, those of you guys that follow me, you should know by now that I prefer longer term trades, right? I prefer swing trades. I like look at USD CAD for example, right? 95 pip stop loss, 450 pip take profit, right? 4.74 risk to reward. So these are the kind of trades that I'm a big fan of. By the way, we're kind of getting to the end here. I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time today. Really just trying to just give you guys as much value in the shortest amount of time without having to talk your guys' ears off. So if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the chat now and I will answer them. But just back to what I was saying is that I prefer higher time frame trades, right? I much rather prefer to take a trade with 100 pip stop loss and a 500 or 400 pip take profit rather than take a trade with like a 20 pip stop loss or a 10 pip stop loss and have like a 40 pip or 80 pip take profit. And those are okay, right? Day trades are totally fine. I enjoy day trades. There's even been some, even last week. I mean, I don't even remember the exact trade count, but there was probably 4 or 5 trades with my students just last week, right? And I usually take on average 5 to 10 trades a month. So last week was a pretty big week for us. We had some intraday trades. We had some good trades going. We made some nice money on a couple pairs day trading, but overall, I prefer taking longer term trades. Okay, So Euro US again, just another quick recap for those of you guys that are catching the tail end of this. Euro USD, I'm still bullish on Euro USD for a couple hundred pips. You know, 117, even 116 is a little bit too low for me. 117, 118, that's where I'll start to begin to look in scaling in shorts on Euro USD, Dollar yen and EJ, for now, I'm bearish on both of these. I'm expecting the yen to strengthen. Even you can see euro yen right here. We've got a really, really nice channel going on. Really nice ascending channel. Pretty much a range, pretty much like a big bear flag that we've been in. So I'm telling you guys, once this range breaks to the downside, we're going to see a major sell-off on euro yen. And that's also going to be caused by yen strength. So that means dollar yen is going to fall as well, right? Dollar yen isn't as clean. It's not as consolidative as euro yen. But dollar yen still, you know, they're very, very, like, you can see price action is very synonymous of each other, okay? They're very synonymous. So expect both of these pairs to have an overall similar bias, okay, or similar price action, similar movement on the longer time frame. USD CAD, again, guys, I'm still long-term bearish on USD CAD. I'm going to be bearish on USD CAD for literally months to come, okay? I mean, unless for some crazy reason USD CAD drops, you know, 700 pips in the next 2 weeks, then obviously that's going to be cut down. But, you know, like I said, look at something where my cursor is over here. You see how from like pretty much the middle of May all the way to September. So what are we talking? May, June, July, August, September. Pretty much 5 months, 4.5 months, you can call it. USD CAD just fell hard, right? And we're in the very pre stages of the downside on USD CAD, right? We can look at just an example of how far this fell, about 1.6k pips, and this has only dropped about 500 pips of a potential 1,000 to 1,500 pips or more. So USD CAD, I'm still very bearish on, and then AUD NZD again, just to follow up. AUD NZD, expecting this support, or if and when the support breaks, expecting some major downside. But that's very, you can see that's very overall the clear trend on AUD NZD. So, you know, and the reason also, just to give you guys an idea, just to be able to distinguish price action on AUD NZD, this pair right here. So this green box that I just drew, this was the level that the bulls, the buyers in the market, needed to overtake for this to go back to a buyer's market, right? For this correction to continue moving higher, right? For that to happen, the bulls would have had to have broken this level and move up higher. But the fact that bears pushed price back down, the sellers held this level and pushed back down to the lows, it's the clearest price action in the world, in my opinion, that we're going to see some downside. Now, this could get complex, right? We could see another push up higher and then another push lower. So I would prefer, if I were you, to wait for a break of this support, kind of like something like where my cursor is, something like back in here, where the support broke. We ended up getting a little bit of a retest and then price sold off, right? In this, I mean, just look at that. Even if you didn't sell right on the break and you waited for this retest to happen, you're looking at, you know, a solid, even down to the lows, 300 pips. And on this pair, that's a lot, right? Any Australian dollar or New Zealand dollar pair, 300 pips is a lot. You know, like a 300 pip move on AUD NZD is like the equivalent of like a 1,000 pip move on something like pound yen or a more volatile pair, right? Because volatility on these pairs are low. Like, look at AUD NZD. Aside from the flash crash, you don't really see a lot of big wicks or a lot of big candles. Like when you go over to pound yen and you see that it's pretty regular, you know, even before the flash crash, big candles, you know, it can move a lot. You know, like you take this day, this is the daily chart, for example. One day pound yen moved over 200 pips. It's not uncommon for this pair to do it. Seems like every couple weeks this pair is having at least a 1 day period where it moves a couple of hundred pips in a 24-hour period. So and on that note, talking about pound yen and pound dollar, remember we talked about in the beginning, Thursday is an interest rate decision for the pound. So we're going to have to see what happens. If you guys have been following anything that's been going on, there was a Brexit vote last week. There was another Brexit vote that failed a couple weeks before. All of the votes have been failing. Most of the amendments have been failing. A couple of the amendments have been being pushed through. But overall, we can even see on the week Brexit information, the pound is still finding strength. It's still trending higher. So pretty interesting. I mean, we've actually been calling that even on pound dollar, that it would continue up higher. And I think overall, I'm still bullish on the pound. I think pound dollar and pound yen are still going to move up higher. I mean, even pairs like pound CAD and pound NZD. Pound NZD also, this pair looks really, really good for some potential buys. So this is this is the daily chart, but we're looking at a weekly level going back all the way to May of, well, even actually before that, April of 2017. Major level. And we can see that we're having a series of higher highs being made, higher lows are being made as well. So I would be bullish on pound NZD as well, especially watch pound NZD. If today or tomorrow's, preferably today's daily candle, if we get a nice bullish daily candle, that's going to leave a lot of opportunity to be able to find some intraday or intra-week buys on pound NZD. So watch these pairs. Watch pound pairs. I think they're still bullish in my opinion, okay? But you can see I don't really have them marked off, and that's because there's the interest rate decision this week. I would rather not touch those pairs this week. But yeah, guys, I hope you get a lot of value from this. Ashley, you're asking, do I trade the S&P 500, the German 30, the US 30, the CAC 40, any indices? So I'll actually show you on here. I do have a bunch of stock indices. I do look at the stock market. I don't personally trade the stock market, so I don't actually take any active positions. Now that may change depending on what happens. I mean, I'm talking as far as trading the U.S. stock markets, so like the Dow or the S&P 500, the U.S. 30. I will probably look at taking some positions on these, especially if we see some more downside. So those of you guys that do trade the stock market, you remember in December, there's a major drop for about 2 weeks, but you can see on the Dow and the S&P 500, we broke a major level of support. I'm sure all of you guys saw it in the news, especially if you trade the stock market, just major drops. And a lot of people were calling for a recession at that point, that the beginning of a recession. And I do agree. I think we are at the beginning of a recession, but it is very surprising of how, I mean, it's not surprising at the same time, right? We see the dollar. Generally speaking, those of you guys that might not know the correlations, this is just a general broad correlation that usually when there's a weak dollar, we see the stock market doing pretty good, and when there's a strong dollar, we usually see the stock market doing pretty bad, or downside on the stock market. So it's really no surprise to me to see that the stock market has been rallying the past couple weeks, as we see the dollar index has been finding weakness over the past couple of weeks. So it really doesn't surprise me. But you know, like I said, my overall outlook on the dollar index, because it's correlation to Euro USD, is I think that the dollar is going to weaken a little bit more, and then we're going to see some major upside. This long-term inverted head and shoulders that everybody's been looking at for a while, is going to see some upside, and we'll see that break. But you know, just to recap, for those of you guys, like, this is why I like trading on the longer time frame too. I've been calling this weakness on the dollar index since November of 2018. I've been calling this downside, right? I called this top. I said DXY weakness coming, and this was on November 22nd. You can go see this on my trading view. So this has been expected in my book for a while. So yeah, I mean, nothing is really surprising me right now, and I'm going to expect the dollar index to continue weakening. I'm going to expect Euro USD to continue moving higher. So, yeah, I hope you guys got some value today. If you're just catching the tail end of this, definitely watch the whole thing. There's a ton of value throughout this. Do me a huge favor. I see that there's a lot of you guys, a couple dozen people watching this right now. If you've made it to this point in the live or the recording, please do me a favor and smash that like button, guys. I can't tell you guys how grateful I am when you guys like it. I mean, it makes me excited, even if you don't think that one like is even worth it or gonna make a difference. It really does. You know, one like turns into 10, 10 turns into 40, and 40 turns into 100. You know, I've really am committed to just giving you guys as much value as I can. I'm still going to be releasing videos for you guys on this channel and releasing as much value as I can to you guys. But I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you are not already subscribed. But other than that, if you are a student watching this right now, I will see you on tomorrow's first daily webinar of the week when we do some live trading. And anybody else, I will see you guys in the Telegram, in the public Telegram group, and I'll see you guys on next week's Weekly Outlook. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My social link is in the description. Best way to get a hold of me is on Instagram, and that's in the description. But other than that, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate you guys, and have a great trading week, traders. Take care.